Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Victoria 2, the New Nations mod, as the Mali Empire. In the last episode we just managed to finally form the Mali Empire. We conquered Ouattara and were able to click the button, which allowed us to inherit Mossi as well, so we've expanded by 2 additional regions in just one episode. That gave us all sorts of new accepted cultures. We have some cores on some of our neighbouring land, though unfortunately it's all either owned directly by great powers like France or the UK, or the countries that have it are in the spheres of great powers. For example, Gabu in the UK's sphere, Ashanti, who has some of our cores, also in the UK sphere. In fact, all of our neighbours are sphered by great powers. The US has been sphering nations over here, it looks like, including Sokoto. So we do have a much better CB against, for example, Sokoto and everyone else. We can demand concession, which allows us to take a state for only 7.5 infamy. But unfortunately, because of the US's involvement, we're going to have to wait for a better opportunity to be able to do that, I think. We still have the decision available to sign the Geneva Convention, so I think we may as well do that now. We don't absolutely need to lose the infamy for anything in particular, but we may as well. Okay, we can build artillery factories. We're currently building a liquor distillery, of course, as our first factory. We don't really have the money to do anything else just yet. We do have some unemployed craftsmen. And we finished our research in empiricism, so I suppose we could start working towards being able to colonize at some point. Which might be a good idea, though I'm not sure whether we'll get there in time to even colonize anything. But I suppose there's no harm in trying. We have to research something, so it may as well be something that gets us closer to colonizing, though researching stuff that would make us more money might also be a good idea, I suppose. Admin and tax efficiency, for example. Mining and farming output also would be a good idea. Maybe we'll do experimental railroad quickly as soon as we're finished with state and government. We have discovered egalitarianism, which gives us increased plurality. That will increase the number of research points we get, of course. Discovered constitutionalism for even more plurality. .96% plurality. I guess it caps at 100%, so we're not going to get any additional benefit from more plurality. Plurality is a surprisingly difficult word to say as well. Extra attack for our military units. Speaking of which, we really should upgrade at some point to get some infantry instead of the irregulars we currently have. We don't have a better option than cavalry for our mounted units, though. In fact, we may as well get started on this already. We'll disband some irregulars and replace them with infantry. Which obviously is not going to do anything to help out our income, but I think we should probably do it sooner rather than later. I think I had my rally point set in Segu. Let's move it to our new capital, Bamako. Okay, we have a new upper house assembled. And we can enact another reform already, so let's do that. I think we'll continue with trade unions. Our First Minister dies in office. Our hard-working First Minister was found dead at his desk this morning. Okay. I forget what effect we were getting from our First Minister, but I think it wasn't anything that we cared about. We may as well actually start spending some of our Diplo points as well, now that we have them. Just continue to increase relations with some of the great powers. We may as well work on the US also. Since they are interfering in our part of the world, and it might become relevant. We have a new First Minister. He's nothing special, I'm afraid. Competent placeholder for no effect. Okay. Oh, and speaking of mounted units, we just did get another option there. No reconnaissance value. Usually build hussars, I think, so probably just stick with the cavalry for the moment. Ottomans are at war with Tunis to make them a satellite, and Japan has declared war to take land from Dainam and apparently Burma, which the US has intervened on the other side of. Okay. I don't imagine that that will stop them intervening if we were to, for example, go to war against Sokoto. So not really an opportunity for us there. Okay, more defense for our various military units is good. And our liquor factory exists, but is not making much money. Which is unfortunate. We'll increase some of our factory efficiency tax at some point though, and see if that gets any better. We'll just finish up with the trade unions reform, I guess. I'd like to get some social reforms at some point, especially the education one, so we can start raising our literacy at a reasonable rate. If I could afford to pay clergymen more, I would. We're about to get to 2% clergymen, though, in one of our regions, so we can remove focus from there. I think I will not bother trying to influence clergymen in our two lowest population areas, though. In Outer Hausaland, we are only at 1.7 clergymen, so we'll start focusing there again. And speaking of focuses, we just have another one, so we'll do clergymen in eastern Mali too. And we need to set a new research, so I will get experimental railroad. Though, on the other hand, it might get us more money in the short term to get something like practical steam engine, since probably making more from mining and farming. Of course, railroad helps with mining and farming efficiency as well, but we need to actually build the railroads or have capitalists build them, which we don't have the money to do it ourselves, and we don't have a lot of capitalists, so maybe this would be better for the moment. Should go fairly quickly. And swerve Swedish control over Norway. I thought that Sweden previously had control over Norway. Okay, Tunis has become a puppet of the Ottomans. And we have a new upper house. Discovered populism versus establishment, increasing political reform desire. International crisis in Bulgaria and South Macedonia. No interest, okay. So, nobody ever did manage to sphere us. Though, it seems the UK is still trying. Perhaps a little half-heartedly. Sokoto fears our might. Suppose we'll work on press rights, maybe. Seems like a lot of people want public meetings. Maybe we'll do that then. Okay. More plurality, which probably won't have any effect since we were already at 100%. The London Conference of 1880. The colonial powers of the world have gathered in London to discuss the regulation of colonization and trade in Africa. The outcome has become known as the General Act of the London Conference, formalizing the scramble for the African continent. After this point, any civilized country will largely be seen as justified in aggression towards uncivilized African nations. So I guess we managed to westernize just in time. I think I said that I thought it was 1880 that we had to be wary of. I don't know if this gives us better CBs against uncivilized African nations, or if it only applies to the Europeans. It seems like we still have the same CBs that we always did. We have a truce with them. Spain has declared war on Benin. Okay. Cool ally from Ashanti. They are in the war against France. I think I'm going to have to decline that. I definitely don't want to fight France. So I think this means that we're going to see the European nations immediately going for conquests down here. Benin, I guess they chose because they are not in anybody's sphere. Although the rest of them are in spheres, so maybe they are safe from that fate for the moment. We have the cut down to size CB against the Ottomans. Interesting. Not sure we really want to use that. We don't actually have any boats, which we would probably need to wage any kind of a war against them. Okay. Probably should build boats at some point, though it's further down my list of priorities. UK declared war on the Zulu, okay. Nothing can go wrong here. Cure for morphine addiction discovered in the USA. Coca wine. Okay, social conscience. Bamako, you're a lady. The growth of our colonies has turned Bamako into the constantly expanding cultural and economic nave of an empire. Supposed to be naval, possibly? Every day, with every passing hour, people from every conceivable corner of the world we have made ours arrive in our capital to court our ministers, to trade with merchants, engineers and industrialists, and to experience any one of the multitude of fates that Bamako affords its visitors. Standing at Bamako Central, one can see all around oneself a small panorama of the world, here spoken any and all of the varying tongues and languages of the world, and smell both the scents and the odours of faraway lands. In the annals of the Malian Empire, the years around 1880 will always be remembered as the golden age of Bamako. Okay, so we're going to gain some free prestige and have Pops in Bamako lose militancy and consciousness. That got us back up to 10th place apparently. We had just slipped down to 11th. We actually have 1 point for industry now, because of our single factory. UK has annexed Zulu. Living wage. A place to live and escape the weather, some clothing for warmth and comfort, some food, bread and cheese one day, perhaps meat a good day. We don't want much, we don't need much, just some necessities to be able to live and work. A pamphlet has been published in Mali Empire detailing the plight of our nation's poor. The pamphlet has gained a fair amount of national attention, and some members of parliament have started arguing in favour of legislation enforcing higher minimum wage. We can build a local support. Pops in Western Mali become more in favour. We can say no, rich strata in Eastern Mali lose militancy, or we can enact the reform. Have poor strata lose militancy, rich strata gain militancy and consciousness. Yeah, we'll just enact the reform, I suppose. UK declared war on Swazi, whoever that is. And we have finished our tech, giving us extra mining and farming output. I think we'll go to mechanical production next. And we've discovered mission to civilize, which does not let us colonize anything, and in fact I've just noticed that the UK and France have started colonizing. Not too surprisingly. So we're still going to need nationalism and imperialism, breech-loaded rifles, medicine, to have a chance of colonizing ourselves. Maybe we should focus on that, actually. Switch to medicine. I do think we're going to be too late to the party to really do anything, though it's possible we'll get some small amount of land through colonization. So I guess we'll go for censored press, maybe? UK has declared war against Dahomey, who are in the US's sphere. Interesting, let's see if they choose to intervene there. if they don't, I might consider it as an indication that I can possibly afford to declare some wars here myself without, for example, the US intervening. France is also trying to take land from Ashanti. Okay. We'll allow military access. Okay, grain production output is going to be pretty good for us. Seems like the US is not intervening there, okay. Well, we'll consider declaring a war against somebody in the US's sphere, maybe, if it seems like they are disinclined to intervene. But it'll have to wait for the next episode, because we're out of time for this one, so thanks for watching, and join me again then.